Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our live broadcast on YouTube, where we have an exciting opportunity to delve into the cutting edge world of Web3 Revolution. I'm your host, Lakshay Gupta, and today we have a very special episode lined up for you. Our title for tonight's session is dApps.co, a sneak peek into the Web3 Revolution. In this episode, we have the privilege of hosting the founders of dApps.co, a groundbreaking platform that is at the forefront of the Web3 movement. They will be joining us to share some exclusive insights into the future podcast, INFTs, and the incredible world of dApps.co. Now, for those who you may be new to the concept of Web3 refers to the next generation of the internet. It's all about decentralization, transparency, and user empowerment. Dapps.co embodies these principles by harnessing the power of blockchain technology to create innovative and interactive experience for its users. Tonight, we have this pleasure to hearing directly from the visionary minds behind Dapps.co. They will be sharing their insights, experience, and the future plans for this remarkable platform, where whether you are a blockchain enthusiast, a digital creator, or simply curious about the Web3 revolution. This episode promises to be an enlightening journey. Without further ado, let's welcome to the founders of dApps.co to our privileged stage. Join me in the giving them a warm welcome as they take us on the thrilling sneak peek into our future. Get ready to witness the magic of dApps.co. Let's welcome Tarusha ma'am, COO and co-founder at dApps.co, and Mohit sir, CEO and co-founder at dApps.co. Welcome Tarusha ma'am and Mohit sir. The
Thank
stage
you
is
so
all
much.
yours.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. So, without like any further ado, I would like to perhaps present my screen and start the webinar right away. And in the meantime, so Lakshay already said, I'm the co-founder of DApps, and we are very excited to be building one of a kind decentralized Web3 app store, but it is a little more than an app store, and that is exactly what we will be telling you today. Just allow me 1 second till I share my screen. Okay, so I'm having some trouble. Mohit, can you share your screen? Would that be possible?
Sure, just give me 1 second.
Yeah. Or in the meantime, I can keep talking. So I'm really glad that all of you could join here. I think as college students, you guys owe it to yourself to learn about Web3 technology, because blockchain and Web3 technology is the next technological revolution. And I think all of us owe it to ourselves to learn a little more about these new innovations in the space, and just to stay relevant, and also to make our lives a little bit easier. When it comes to basically what we are building, like I mentioned that we are building a decentralized app store for Web3 applications. Let's go back a little bit. I would like to talk about how perhaps we got into the Web3 space, and then talk to you a little about Web3 and what is exactly Web3 as well. So thank you so much, Mohit, for presenting. Basically, welcome again here, guys, to all the Dapsters who've joined in. So, like I was saying, how did we get into Web3? My journey has been of nearly a decade long, and it wasn't even called Web3 then; it was called crypto. And Mohit and I were running a data center, and we wanted to basically start looking at mining. So we were mining some tokens, and then subsequently co-founded one of the first Ethereum exchanges of India. So our journey goes back to, say, 2012, and we've seen this space grow, mature, and more innovative solutions come into play. What essentially has happened is that because there are so many ecosystems now in the blockchain space, there are so many different blockchains, that it has come to a point where these blockchains and ecosystems are perhaps not communicating as well with each other as they should. What we are trying to do is create an umbrella ecosystem where any app that is being built on any blockchain can perhaps be used by the end user, by installed by the end user, and just a seamless interaction can happen by end users like you, and developers can seamlessly create Web3 applications with the right tooling and the right support that we kind of give to the developers who are associated with dApps. Mohit, would you mind scrolling? So again, let's talk a little about what is perhaps Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. There is a lot of talk about how Web 3 is now, and this is like the new thing. But the easiest simple definition that I have, and I keep repeating, is basically Web 1 was when there were static websites. So all of you are college going students, you're probably way too young, but I remember the internet when it was all static. So you could go online and you could read a bunch of things, but you could not really actively post something. This was being done by entities. So this was like early 90s, and this was Web 1. This is what is when you could just read online. And then came Web 2. This is at the advent of when social media sort of became a bit bigger online, with the advent of High Five, Orkut, then came along Facebook and Instagram. This is when the end user like you could read and write online. You could actually contribute to the internet by posting your opinions online. That was Web 2. Web 3 is basically technology that is being powered by blockchain, blockchain as a foundation. And as an end user, you are not just able to say read and write, but you're also able to own a bit of that platform in via tokens, via giving it your time and resources. So that is how this technology has evolved, and this is the way now the technology is moving forward. So it is very important that we get to know at least these very macro level concepts. You don't need to all know the micro levels and the technical aspects of everything. It's just about understanding the technology at perhaps a very base level, so that you can use it and perhaps use it to make your life a little more efficient, a little more better. So that is essentially the journey of Web 1 to Web 3. And when this kind of ties up to why I am in Web 3, and why I got into Web 3. So we got into Web 3 when there were banking scandals, and banks were failing, and we realized that decentralization is very important, it's very powerful. So we wanted to stay in this space. The more we got into the space, the more we realized that adoption is a very big challenge for Web 3, because users find it very hard to interact with Web3 applications, to get onboarded on Web3 applications, to do anything with Web3 applications. There is a certain notion, which is probably incorrect in everybody's head, that if you're interacting or getting into the Web3 crypto space, it's going to be a little technical, it's a little difficult. The user experience itself is a little tedious, and I won't lie about that. But there is nothing very difficult about this entire process. But the idea that the UI is so bad and the user experience affects adoption, that is what we are trying to change with dApps. Trying to bring ecosystems together, giving users a seamless experience where they can interact with Web3 applications like they do in Web2. It's as simple as downloading, installing, and perhaps just signing up on an application and reusing that application with ease, and having some solid solutions that are built on Web3 technology, but are actually that are making the user's life a little better. And we are also supporting the developers with our tooling kit. So this is essentially the long and short of what we are building at dApps. Mohit, if you could just scroll down, I think that just talks about what is dApps, I think, a little bit. Yeah, so I think I've kind of covered this already, but this is the long and short of what we are building. But how dApps is going to absolutely change the world and perhaps change your life a little bit and your future a little bit, I would let my co-founder Mohit take the stage. So Mohit, please go ahead and tell them about the amazing thing that we are building with INFTs.
Thank you so much, Tarusha, and thank you to the entire DApps team for organizing this. Thank you to all the participants who took out time on this Friday evening, lovely evening in Delhi actually, and being here. So without much ado, let me just share my screen and get started. Um, I personally believe that blockchain as a technology has a lot of scope, right? I believe that we are in an era where internet was probably in the late 90s and early 2000s, where we couldn't really imagine that with a tap of a button I'll be able to get food, or with a tap of a button a cab would be there, or with a swipe of a finger I'll be able to find love. So the kind of innovations that internet finally unraveled, it took it a lot of time, but now we have taken internet for granted, and it's a major part of our life. Blockchain is still very nascent, still very new, but I believe the impact that blockchain would have on our lives would be far greater than the internet itself. But this being such an amazing technology, there are still very big barriers to entry. Like, we can't really expect our parents, grandparents to be able to jump in and start using Web3. It's difficult, it's confusing. There are too many chains, too much noise, too many applications and wallets, and one finds it very difficult that where should they start their journey. Everything is just fragmented. And even if you start your journey, there's always that fear at the back of your head. Yeah, what if the tokens that I have in my wallet, they get stolen because I connect to a wrong website, or to a wrong application? Security is something that is still a major challenge here. Now, when you start getting in Web3, it's like a rabbit hole, right? You keep on exploring more and more things, and there are always new things to learn, new applications to explore. But where do you go and find these newer applications? For Web2, or the internet as we know it, there are amazing platforms like Product Hunt, where you can go and discover new applications every day, right? But on Web3, it's still very fragmented. Like, there might be a great application on Polygon, but the other good application might be on Binance Smart Chain, the other one on Celo Network. Managing all those different wallets, managing the complexities of each application, it can be daunting, it can be difficult. Unlike our phone, when it comes to the internet, at times we are just sitting and we don't even realize that we have opened up an app and we start exploring it. That's how deep internet has gotten into our lives, and we want blockchain to actually arrive at that point. So in order to solve this, we are creating dApps, which is a decentralized app store, as my co-founder Tarusha mentioned. The idea is that this should be your one go-to place where you can find all the applications that you need. You should be able to run it within the same console. It shouldn't redirect you to any external websites. It shouldn't be complex to use. It should be as seamless as a Web2 application. The experience that you get across various applications should be consistent, not in terms of that that it should be same color or same design, not like that, but you as a user usually know where to go to when you access any application on your phone. You know that on the left top there is going to be a navigation bar with a hamburger button, and if I'm going to click on it, there'll be some settings option. That's already engraved in our head because of the consistency of mobile apps that we currently use. This is something that Web3 is lacking, and that's what dApps is solving. It should be so seamless that our parents and grandparents should be able to use it. It should be so secure that you don't have to worry about the security aspect of it at all. And that doesn't mean that you put the onus on us and we have your private keys. No, not at all. dApps is completely open source. You always have control of the keys, and We have nothing to do with the private keys or any part of it. We just make sure that everything runs smoothly. And in order to make this happen, we've come up with an invention that's called INFTs, and that's also the secret sauce behind dApps. Now, for the people that don't know what NFTs are, let's start there. NFTs are non fungible tokens. And what that means is there can be two broad category of tokens. Like tokens are representation of anything. One category can be fungible tokens. Now, fungible tokens can be like if I have a 10 rupee note and if you have a 10 rupee note, it's fungible, which means it can be exchanged for one another for the same value. It's literally same. It doesn't matter whether the note is from today or from a year back, right? Except for the demonetized notes, and we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, essentially that's the fungibility part of it. Like all the pages in my notebook that I've not written in, they're fungible, right? They're exactly the same. Then comes the non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible are the ones that cannot really equate with another token. Like for example, if I have two different pens, they're going to be very different, right? Even if they are issued by the same company, they're still going to be different. They're going to look different. They're going to, the way that it feels while writing is going to be different. For example, cars, right? You cannot really compare a Fiat car with a Ford car. Like you can't really exchange it, right? It has different value associated with it. So that's non-fungible. Typically, right now in the Web3 world, non-fungible tokens or NFTs usually represent a static image. Like, for example, Board Ape Yacht Club. They have this ape image that sells for tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. There are various NFT projects that are working there. What we have done is we've created an NFT standardization where the entire code base of an application now resides on the NFT itself. A novel concept, but why should you really care that the code base of an application is on an NFT? You should care because right now your journey is, if you need something on Web3, you have to open different websites, and on each website you have to go and connect your wallet, which is not very pleasing to do. It's not very seamless to do, particularly because even if you change one character of that website, a same phishing website would open because there are so many scams in this space. What we have done with this INFT concept is, once you install an application on your phone or on your desktop, you don't need to remember different websites or go on different websites. You can just tap on that NFT and that particular NFT is going to open up and that entire application loads up. So this experience is exactly the same that you get with mobile apps that you have, right? The smartphone apps. Like you tap on an icon and the entire application loads up. INFTs offer that flexibility for Web3. And it's because it's a token standard being put forward, it wouldn't matter what chain you are on, or it wouldn't matter what wallet you are using, your starting journey becomes extremely easy. So instead of a 9-step process that we had earlier for accessing any Web3 platform, now it becomes a 3-step process. I get a wallet, any wallet, I mint an INFT or I install an INFT of whatever application that I want to install, and then I start using it. Now, where do I install these applications from? Dapps.co offers you the entire app store of all the available applications. And towards the end of this webinar, we're going to do a demo as well on how it looks, how it feels, so that you're able to visualize it better. See, before the smartphone apps and app stores got invented, we were still using internet. There was Web 1 and early Web 2. But the usage since the launch of Apple App Store and Google Play Store has 100x. From a 4-year-old kid to an 80-year-old person, all of us are able to make use of different apps on our phone to add to our life. Even if it's like mindless scrolling, it still contributes to us in some manner or the other. Via INFTs, such behaviors would now be possible in Web3 because now you just tap on a button and the application loads up within the wallet itself. Now let's look at some of the possibilities that can be created because of INFTs or interactive non-fungible tokens. As the name suggests, INFT is interactive non-fungible token. First, let's talk about gaming, because gaming in Web3 is quite big. It's big, yet it's broken because either you need to install different softwares to run that game, or because it loads up on the browser, it's limited by the kind of graphics that it can display or the kind of interactions that you can do with it. Because these INFTs sit within your wallet and your wallet is on your device, these INFTs are able to leverage the power of the device, which means its rendering capacity, its storage, and all those technical jargons. But basically, now better quality of games can be created for Web3 that are completely decentralized. These NFTs would also be able to leverage AR and VR. So now AR and VR capable metaverses with games in them can be created just with this simple INFT technology. The second example is healthcare. Right now, healthcare in Web3 virtually doesn't exist. And that's because Web3 doesn't have access to any health data of the user. And on Web2, there are several, health-based applications, but all of that you have your personal data stored on their servers, which can be hacked, which can be misused, and sometimes, even leaked online. Via INFTs, developers would now be able to create healthcare based applications because now they have access to your device data, which means your Apple Health data. So they'll be able to give you personal recommendations, and various kind of healthcare applications would now be possible. Now let's talk about the use case that I personally feel most excited about, and that's AI ownership. I believe in a couple of years, with the way that AI is progressing, AI would run its own companies of software as a service products, and it will hire humans or other AI companies to do its bidding. And for them, INFT becomes a very a vehicle for launching anything. See, INFTs are on blockchain, which means they are unstoppable in nature. Nobody can take them down, nobody can delete them. So this allows them a convenient vehicle to accept payments or make payments. Like for example, let's take an example of an AI ownership. Let's say a self-driving car, right? If AI is given an ownership of a self-driving car and that is converted into an INFT, then anybody who's booking that cab ride would essentially be able to pay, and that money gets sent to the INFT via some on-ramp service. And then when the ride completes, you can actually review. So you're actually giving rating to that INFT itself. And when this car needs some battery recharge or some fuel, it can actually pay using that INFT itself, right? So it provides that end-to-end service for AI to create its own ownership-based products, right? Another use case that really excites me is dynamic NFT form. So as we discussed earlier, NFTs right now are just static in nature, just images of apes or anything. Via INFTs, because INFTs are interactive in nature, you can actually create dynamic NFT art, which means, let's say that there was an art describing the mood of the world. And if there's an earthquake somewhere, the mood automatically changes to sad. If there is something exciting happening somewhere, a SpaceX launch allowing us to explore the space more, that's a happy thing. That's a happy thing. So it can get a smile on its face. So dynamic NFT form, which can change based on external events, can now be created, right? So the possibilities of INFTs are completely limitless. And For developers, I would love for you guys to explore this and see the kind of applications that you would now be able to create. Like I said earlier, in the early 2000s and late 1990s, we couldn't really tell that with the tap of a button a cab is going to be here. So the possibilities are endless here. Now, I personally believe that this is an aha moment for Web3, and I have been in the Web3 space for almost a decade now. I have gone through the various cycles, the price going down, up, testing out various applications, staking, farming, mining, and all of that. To be honest, all of that is very complex, right? And difficult to use. We can't really expect a layman to participate in those networks. But with INFTs, those complexities completely go away, right? And that's why it creates an aha moment. First of all, it offers a superior user experience because you no longer have to go on different websites, connect your wallets, remember different websites, and things like that, right? You just open your wallet, you have the entire app store there, you tap on any application that you want to install, and once that's minted within your wallet, it automatically runs. The next time you're opening your phone, you'll see that application is already installed. Tap the button, the application loads up again, right? Second is, no longer do we have to think about how protocols work or how chains work or how wallets work. All of that is running in the background. See, right now I'm doing this webinar using StreamYard. I don't really care how the internet behind StreamYard works. I trust it to work. I don't care how it works. And this technology is now allowing me to, share this knowledge with you. Blockchain has to arrive at a point where it becomes invisible to the user, where a user shouldn't care what chain, what protocol it is. It should serve a purpose. Third thing that INFTs are able to do for us is scalability is no longer a challenge. See, whenever there is a heavy application, let's take an example of a metaverse, right? Quite a heavy application. If there are 10,000 users accessing metaverse at the same time, all the load is on the servers. And these, can be very expensive to manage and at times can also clog up. So, new users cannot get added to the metaverse. But because the way that INFTs has been designed, all the rendering work, all the heavy lifting happens at the client end. So now scalability for those applications is no longer a challenge. Our phones are smart enough, capable enough, have enough memory, have enough storage to be able to load even heavier applications. And because the load gets distributed across, all those INFTs, it's not coming on blockchain, it's not coming on servers. So scalability is no longer a challenge. On top of it, we've created some adoption tools, and I'm going to talk about it. But essentially, this opens up Web3 to newer categories. No longer are we restricted to TradeFi or NFT based games. We can now think about healthcare. We can now think about education. Like there can be an education based INFT where you can learn different courses. You can speak with tutors and basically have your own environment of learning, right? Which is not dependent on a central body. And why does dependence on a central body matter is if you're a content creator, you don't really want to give away 30% or 50% of what you're making simply because the platform is being offered. So via INFTs, you would actually be able to make more revenue if you are content creator. And by virtue, because more content creators would join in for this cause, more content would be available itself. So users would have better class and better content available in these educational INFTs. Let's quickly look at the technical architecture for the developers on this call. Typically, any Web3 application looks somewhat like this. There's a React-based frontend. There is some amount of caching mechanism. There are smart contracts, and then there are backend calls. Backend calls can be to graph servers or just centrally hosted servers. Now, what we have done for easing developers to build INFTs is you simply take what you already have, you add some adoption tools on it if you want, and bring it to dApps console. dApps console generates that dApps INFT for you. That dApps INFT represents your right to that entire application. And from that, any number of NFTs can be minted by your user. Each user would have their own version of your application within their wallet. Now let's talk about what are these tools that developers can add and how can they contribute positively to them. First is unstoppable messaging. So let's say if StreamYard, via which we are doing this, had an INFT, anybody who's using StreamYard, I'll be able to, if I'm the developer of StreamYard, I'll be able to message them or notify them. Now, this is very important because notifications in any forms creates an external trigger for us to go to that application. Like for example, on Zomato, if there is a notification that my food is outside, I know what the next step to do is, right? If they don't remind me, basically the user experience would suck, right? Second is dApps Soul. Now, dApps Soul is our identity layer. Think of it like a dynamic identity being created for you on blockchain that you own. Like an example for this would be Netflix. Like when I go on Netflix and I search for, or rather when I see various content, it automatically creates a profile for me. And that profile is customized to me, my personal requirement, and it gives me recommendation based on that. So via dApps Soul, developers would be able to personalize the experience of a user. Personalization is very important because the user experience considerably improves. Like for example, let's say I go on Google and search for Apple, and you guys go on Google and search for Apple. We are likely to get very different results, and those results are personalized to our needs. So that level of personalization would now finally be possible in Web3 using dApps Soul. Third is dApps Hermes. This is our gas station, which would basically ensure that you don't really have to, go on various exchanges, buy tokens for, performing any action on INFTs. All those are essentially gas free for end user. So navigating for an end user is as seamless for Web 2 that they do as it would be for Web 3 now. Fourth is the commerce module, which would allow developers to better commercialize their application. For example, they can have paid INFTs. These are, the equivalent would be paid apps that we have on our app stores. They can have in-INFT purchases. And soon they'll be able to showcase in-INFT ads as well via a private ad network. We are powering this all with a dApps energy token. And essentially, this token is required because of governance. See, any application that I find on my phone via the App Store, subconsciously I start trusting it. I know that Apple has given it its proof of stamp that it's a good application, it's good enough to be on an app store, which is why it's on an app store. In case of dapps.co is open source and permissionless, which means anybody can create any kind of application. There are no restrictions, no barrier to entry. Dapps itself as a platform cannot take that application down, and neither can anybody else. So how do we make sure that good quality of applications are able to get more visibility and perhaps bad actors are thrown out? For that, we are creating this dApps Energy token, which allows the token holders to govern these applications or moderate these applications. Like, for example, if there is a rogue application, a spammy or a virus-based INFT, the community holders would actually be able to vote and take that application down. The use cases are far more than just governance, but this is the most basic use case, because now the token holders essentially are not just securing the network, they are powering the entire network itself. In terms of competitors, there are various categories of competitors that we have. First are listing platforms like DappRadar, DappList, and the likes of it. There on these platforms, you can go and find out about some applications that exist in Web3. If you click on that application, it will take you to that application's homepage, right? That's not what we are doing. Essentially, we are not taking you to any external website or showcasing you that these are the analytics of this website or things like that. We are giving you the complete ownership of the platform itself, where you can mint applications in your wallet and start using them. In terms of our roadmap, this is very exciting. So the first release for this is a proof of concept based on our Chrome extension, and I'm just going to give you a demo in a couple of seconds here. That goes live on 12th of July. The public release goes out on 15th of August. Now, if you want to be part of our beta release and join in on 12th of July itself, you can actually go on dapps.co/Chrome, and here you can sign up for an early access. We launched this almost a day and a half back, and we already have over 1,000 participants here. I would strongly urge you to try this out because now you'll be able to get an early access to this application. So there are like 1,032 people already on the list. I am also, by the way, ranked 9 on the list. Okay. Right. Anything new being created, whenever there's a 0 to 1 movement of technology in any sector, it needs to be validated. So we did our pre-seed round last year in November, where we got support from 36 angel investors. These angel investors are actually OGs of the Web3 space. These are partners at various foundations, such as Nishal, who was the CEO of WazirX at that point. Now he's the CEO of Shardium. Ajit Khurana sir, Keyur, who was the ex-CEO of Polygon, Jason, who is the partner at Cello Foundation, and a lot of great builders who have created various miracles in Web3, right? The reason I mention this is when we shared our journey with them and what we were trying to create, they were as excited at the time to join us. And this was a time when liquidity was really thin in the entire Web3 space. Investments had virtually stopped, but these guys still believed in us and trusted us. So I'm really grateful to them, and this is a shout out to them. Now, without much ado, let me just take you through a demo of how this works. Sorry. So this demo would actually help you visualize better what we are creating. So for our pilot, we are creating a Chrome extension. This Chrome extension would open up every time you open a new tab in Chrome. So once you've installed Dapp's Chrome extension, when you open a new tab, this extension loads up automatically, right? So this basically is your cue to accessing anything new. Now, when you scroll down, you'll be able to see Dapp's console. If you click on it, here you are able to see all the INFTs that currently exist on our network. For the people that have just joined in, INFTs are a new form of NFTs that we have created. They are called interactive NFTs. Think of them as applications running within the NFT itself. So here in my NFT library, I'll be able to see all these applications. Let's say if I was in a mood to play a game of tic-tac-toe, I just go ahead and mint it. Now, when I click on mint at the back end, what is happening is this NFT is getting minted into my wallet. And as soon as the minting completes, the application is going to load up. Now here we see this application loaded up. There are a couple of things to understand from the screen. First is the way that we have designed the navigation. This allows us to have multiple INFTs opened at the same time and stay active, so that users can switch between them. So you can have a healthcare INFT open, education INFT open, some games open, some productivity INFTs open that will help with your work and things like that. So and you can easily switch between them. In this example, we show two users playing a game of tic-tac-toe, which is a simple game. Now let's say if this user wants to exit this INFT, then they just need to press this cross button and they're immediately taken to my INFT screen. Now, because I had just minted this INFT, it's available here. It's in the my INFT section. The next time I open dApps console, I don't really have to mint this NFT again. I just tap on it and the entire application loads up. Here, when we were playing this NFT, the load for running this game is no longer on the server or on the blockchain. It's now on my device, which is why there is no lag here. And which is why better quality of games and metaverses would now be possible because of INFTs. Right. So I exited. If I want to go back, I go on dApps console and I arrive at this same page again. I'll take a little pause here for any questions, any thoughts. Tarusha, my co-founder, if you'd like to join in.
So, Mohit, I think you've kind of covered it in a brilliant manner as to what we're doing. I would love for perhaps Lakshay to join in and see if there are any questions that we can perhaps take, because he would have access to them. Hi, Lakshay.
Yep, yep. Hey everyone. So that was so much knowledgeable, Mohit sir and Tarusha ma'am. I literally got into like INFTs, how it will be revolving around Web3 and literally will be changing the like the kind we interact with Web3 right now by connecting wallets again and again with multiple websites. So I think it will gonna create a lot of impact in the Web3 market. Okay, so I think guys we are open to questions right now. If you guys have any questions for our founders related it to their personal journey or related to the product, they are here in the front of you. Don't hesitate to ask. It's your time to ask it. We are open for the Q&A session. Okay, so we have a person saying that he's a newbie and he's here to learn something new. So, Mohit sir, anything that you want, you can address if a person is starting in a newbie into Web3 world.
Sure. So that depends on the background that you are in. If you're a developer, I would strongly recommend you to go on inft.dapps.co, where you can read all the details on how INFTs work, how the technology behind it works, and how you can get associated with it. If you are if you want to pursue a marketing career and you want to join in there, you can actually check out our socials. And in fact, we have these internships that keep opening up, and the hiring that we keep doing of good people that share our vision. So you can get associated there. Of course, you can go through our light paper and white paper to learn more about the technology, and think about how you can create or the kind of INFTs that you can create, because soon we'll also be working with some accelerators to launch programs where if you have a good idea and if you believe that you can achieve it, we can offer you the technical assistance there and help you realize that vision.
Got it. Got it. Tarusha, do you want to add something like if a non-tech person that wants to get into the marketing community side of Web3, then what should be the exact roadmap? What if we say, or what should be the first initial stages that he should cover, he or she should cover?
So, I had initially come in from a non-technical background, and I was a humanities student when 10 years, 12 years ago, I started getting into tech. So I think keeping an open mind is very, very important. Like you don't let your degree stop you from doing what you really feel, where you can really be valuable. So that is one. And if you are somebody who's trying to perhaps get into Web3 in the marketing space, in the community side or the BD side, I would strongly recommend that, you should be a user of those products or these platforms. You should be trying out these platforms. You should be trying out different tools, and the one that you perhaps like, or one that you're hankering after, where you want to get into the team, start being a little active in their community. reach out to the founders or the team members. Web3 is very open. We are a close knit community, and we are happy to sort of lend a helping hand, and everybody seems to really like hiring for good talent, even if there is a bear market or a bull market. So if you're looking to get into community and marketing, and how would you know, perhaps, if you want, if you're like a good fit. So if you are somebody who enjoys learning new things and talking to a lot of people, ideating, brainstorming, I think that you might be a good fit, perhaps, for leading a community role in any sort of a Web3 platform, because community becomes everything in Web3. So think of community as like the bunch of early adopters and the early users that were there for Web2. So I think everybody who has even non-technical skills, and they feel that perhaps they can add value to a Web3 platform vis-a-vis marketing, etc., get involved in their community. Those would be my 2 cents.
Got it, got it, got it. So we have another question saying that how Web3 and blockchain tech related. Okay, let's take it.
Oh, so it's essentially the same thing. Like, for example, you know, I called my mama mama, and his son calls him father, right? So literally the same person. It's just calling it by a different name. So the
Right.
same. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, we have another question saying that are we launching our token for any in future or something?
Yes, so we do intend to launch a dApps energy token for, as I mentioned earlier, the governance part of it for validator nodes and things like that.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, we have another question saying that companies are switching to cloud gaming. Why would we want our devices to take the load?
So thank you so much, Tejansh, for that question. It's a wonderful question. See, the thing is that as we move forward, as more and more people join in the gaming sector, and more and more people try to access games, the servers cannot really scale to a point where it can offer powerful games to millions of users at a time. We are at that stage of tech cycle where millions of concurrent users can access data, they can even interact with one another, but games take up a lot of other resources as well. Your devices, which means your smartphones, are capable enough to take that load. So one thing is, more users will be able to get in because the load is distributed. Second is, rendering is no longer a challenge, which means when you're playing CS, there's a lot of lag, right? That completely goes away now because it's literally being rendered on your device itself. So your gaming experience considerably improves.
Great, great, great. Okay, coming to our next question that says, are blockchain app developers more in demand as compared to code development?
I think developers of any form are really in demand. Whenever there is a new technology, there are fewer developers in that space, which is why their demand suddenly shoots up when the space starts picking some speed. So right now there are more companies and fewer developers, which is why the demand for blockchain developers at the current moment is massive. However, that's not going to be the case 10 years from now, right? Because more and more people and developers are entering the space. It could be possible that 2 years down the line, AI engineers might be more popular and more in demand because that is a sector which might be spiking at that period of time. So I think that you should have your basics very clear, because once you have your basics of C, C++, or Python, or any language very clear, then learning anything new is just syntax change, right? So have your core really solid, and then you can build on anything.
Got it, got it. Okay. So, those all of you don't know, Tarusha ma'am comes from a humanities background, and I got it know from some days back only. So, ma'am, I would like to know from you, like you entering into Web3 market, you wanted to get into tech side more, right? So, what's the difference between if I personally work in marketing side more and don't want to get into tech really? So, what will be the like? Is it very much necessary for me to get into tech to get into Web3?
No, not at all. So, I'm glad you asked this, Akshay. I think, see, I learned to code and design and all of that because I didn't have an option. This is like 12, 13 years back. We were just starting off. We did not have a team, and we had to do everything ourselves. So I had to learn it because I had to do it. Not because I wanted to, like, pick up. It's good to pick up those skills, but I did not have a choice at that point. But I would like to say that, right now at this point, if I had to do it all over again, I don't know if I would perhaps go down that route, because I feel that now there are so many no code tools available. There is so much more more to be explored, which is beyond just writing code. That I would encourage people to sort of do that, explore that. Not everybody who is getting into Web3 needs to be a coder or somebody who's like a techie. There are so many avenues. You can be a marketer, you can be a business developer, you can be a community guy, you can be a devrel, you can write content, you can play around with social media. There is so much to explore in the non-tech space, or the non-tech arena of Web3, because it's great to create great brilliant products tech wise, but it's all going to be naught if the marketing doesn't do its job and there are no users using it, right? Unless there are people using it, there is a community that you've built an ecosystem. That is where the power lies. The technology has to be solid, yes, but what is beyond that? Like after technology, you need to have those extra things, and that is how businesses are made and run.
Got it, ma'am. Got it. Okay, coming to our next question that says, "Hey, I am Vipul, and hey, Vipul. So I want to know that how long it will take to learn with burden of our syllabus. So maybe he's a college student right now. So, sir, what should be the exact ratio of learning new things and surviving with college?"
So, Vipul, the purpose of going to college and learning anything new is so that you can upskill yourself and you can play a pivotal role in the real world, right? I think learning in any form, whether in college, whether from YouTube or from OpenAI, they're all very important. How long should you spend on blockchain? See, blockchain is really like a rabbit hole, and once you go down it, there is always more to explore and more to learn. I would recommend working on the weekends as interns, or giving it time after your studies if you can, for a couple of hours freelancing, so that you're able to learn as you also generate some side income. On top of it, particularly if we talk about INFTs, in a couple of months' time, we would be able to arrive at a point in INFTs where we'll be able to train an AI engine to generate an INFT for you. Like, for example, with the prompt writing that, I want to create an INFT for grocery delivery apps, or for digital art forms in Web3, and that should cater to this audience, that audience, la la la. You put up the parameters and the INFTs would automatically get generated. So we need to arrive at a point where you can also think about distribution, as my co-founder Tarusha talked about. See, Web3, when it started with cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Bitcoin, it was just a group of nerds and geeks, right? Now, you need distribution for this to scale to billions. You don't need more and more engineers. You need better storytellers. So I don't just want you to think from a tech point of view. Think from a distribution point of view. How can you actually take the products that exist and scale them up and take them to a larger audience? Because that's where the gold lies.
Yep, got it, sir. Okay, moving to our next question that says, "Do you provide any platform where I can learn about blockchain from scratch?"
There are various platforms that you would be able to find. Binance has Binance Academy. I would strongly recommend you to try that. YouTube has various, podcasters, bloggers such as Coin Bureau, where you can go and learn about this information. Particularly on Dapps.co, in our current form, we don't. However, on feed.dapps.co, we keep on publishing, various learning materials. So you can go on feed.dapps.co and subscribe yourself to learn anything new that we publish.
Got it, sir. Okay, so we have another question that says, "Any recommendation for Web3 jobs portal with good community?"
Tarisha, you want to take that up?
Sure, I can take that up. Thank you so much, Meghna, for asking that question. I think, there are several portals that do a fabulous job. We have our own portal as well, where we are trying to help out. And actually, we created hustlers.in as a portal to solve our own problem when it comes to hiring great talent. And I think for Web3 jobs, there are several portals that provide like remote job opportunities, but hustlers.in specially caters to an Indian audience, and we are trying to basically bridge that gap where the Indians looking for jobs in Web3, remote jobs in Web3, can be connected with the right opportunities. So I would highly recommend that you perhaps look at joining the Telegram group of hustlers.
Got it. Okay, so moving to our next question that says, "Do you have any open job positions at your organization as developer right now?"
Several. You should go on careers.dapps.co. I'll request somebody from my team to put the link in the comments section here as well, so that you are able to see all the job positions that we are opening. And we are hiring across board, from developers to marketing people, social media, content. So if you believe that you're a perfect fit for any of those roles, please go ahead and apply, and we'd love to speak with you.
Okay, so we have another question saying that is Web3 the future or not?
Absolutely not. Web3 is now. And it was future, 4 years back. Web3 is right now. You can actually feel it. You can actually start using applications. So it's no longer the future. You're living in the future now.
Yeah, it's like the present thing that we are doing right now. We are experimenting. Okay, so we have a technical question here saying that good evening. I read React JS and basics in blockchain. Am I eligible for an internship? Cause I wanna explore more while building APKs.
Okay, so the version of APKs that we would help you create are called INFTs, or interactive NFTs. If you have the basic knowledge of React, which is basically what we have used for creating the entire application, and you have worked in Web2 or have good experience of Web2 or created your own personal project for Web2, that's the perfect time to start up and the perfect time to apply for an internship. Again, I would recommend you to go on careers.dapps.co to look at the internship opportunities available within our organization. If you want to look at other internship opportunities in the entire Web3 space, I would recommend you to go on hustlers.in or join the Hustlers Telegram channel. Again, I would request somebody from our team to put the links in the comment section itself, so it's easier for you to navigate.
Got it. Okay, so moving to our next question, that is, if I want to develop INFT, where should I start? And do you have any course for it? I am fluent in web apps.
Yes. So initially, you start by going on inft.dapps.co. Our first release goes out on 12th of July, and then the public release is on 15th of August. We are partnering up with various educational providers and accelerators to create various batches of, INFT developers. And that's where I would recommend you to apply. We are still a couple of weeks away from it. So you should follow our socials. And whenever these opportunities open up, you should apply to them. We internally are working on a course module, but, I personally believe that there are better people in the market that can, portray it in a better manner. So we'll be collaborating with those instead. Right now on inft.dapps.co, you would be able to find all the information that you would need to get started.
Got it, sir. Okay, so we have some questions related to people getting into dabs.co, and I think we already answered it somehow. So you guys just can rewind the video or some minutes back and just see the answers, right? Okay, so jumping on to our next question, that as a startup, what do you want to find in your intern?
I want to find the vision alignment. I want you to feel as excited about Web3 as I feel. I want you to feel that uh, working in this technology, you can actually change humanity for good. I want you to believe it, and if you're able to believe it, you'll be able to manifest it, right? I want you to share that excitement and energy that is associated with running any startup, right? Because it's not your 9 to 5 job. There's the roles are fluid, there's a lot to be done, and it's just exciting overall. So be prepared to have that excitement added to your life if you apply to any startup, especially at dabs. Tarusha, do you want to take this up as well?
Sure. So I think what you said, and I would just perhaps like to add, if you are really starting off as an intern, be it in DApps or be it any other startup, just have a can-do attitude. Like we'll just figure out how to get stuff done. I think that's very very important. It's good to expect some hand holding, but it's even better when you prove your mettle and you kind of have a problem solving approach and you bring solutions to the table, because ultimately the way we solve problems, or anybody has solved problems, is by ideation and by brainstorming. So don't be diffident, add value where you can, and don't be scared that you'll be perceived a certain way, because you're just starting off, you have nothing to lose. So I think that in an intern is a quality that would make that particular profile completely irresistible, and we'll onboard them immediately.
Sounds great, ma'am. Okay, so we have a type of a big question right here on our screens saying that as I'm seeing that big whales are only making money in the crypto market, fooling people to invest, and they are exiting the market, taking their profits and making people their exit liquidity. Taking example of Peep, a whale just invested $200 and exited the market, making millions just by making hype. How to avoid that?
While I don't really like commenting on financial aspects of any cryptocurrency or stock for that matter, of course, it's important for you to do your own research, as you know, everybody says. What does that mean? It's a three-step process. First, figure out what products is this token representing, or is associated with it. Second, use that product. If you fall in love with that product, if you see yourself using it every day and thinking about it, and it becomes an important part of your life, then and only then think about investing. Third, if you are purely investing, say a couple of $100 and you want to be a millionaire the other day, the odds of that are very less, right? However, if you keep on building your portfolio over a period of time, you'd be able to perform reasonably well. Don't invest any money that you can't afford to lose in Web3. It's not a overnight millionaire factory, right? You'll have to work for it. You'll have to be patient, and not get into FOMO of things, right? That's how people become exit liquidities, right? Because they get into FOMO right at the top, and that's when the whales start exiting. So be a little cautious. Do your own research.
Got it, got it, got it. Okay, so we have another question saying that I am from a tier 4 college. Is college name really matter for internship and jobs?
My friend, I'm a college dropout. My educational qualifications are 12th pass, right? So no, absolutely not. Your college name doesn't matter. What matters are your skills. What matters are your dedication. How you are able to align with the vision of the team, how you are able to contribute to the overall ecosystem, and how you can actually work towards making that company matter. That's all that matters.
Yep, 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 totally, sir. Okay, so moving to our next question, that is, what will be your initial market cap?
Since we are still a couple of months away from the launch, it's very difficult for me to put a number at this point of time. However, we are already a part of our seed round, which is about to get concluded as well. I think I'll be in a better position to answer this question perhaps sometime around September and October.
Got it. Okay, so we have another the last we are, and guys, we are taking some last questions. So make sure that do you have anything related to Web3, NFTs or dapps.co? Make sure you drop it right now, and then we will moving forward to our quiz section. Okay, so the next question that we have here is just a fresher in bachelor's. I was wondering what languages are required to get comfortable with Web3 and blockchain.
So, Aditya, there are two answers to this question. First is, if you want to learn something to build an idea that you have, I would recommend to start with React and then learn Solidity. Second is, if you want to actually bring about a bigger change and contribute to the overall blockchain as an ecosystem itself, I would recommend you to learn C really, really well, or Python really, really well, and get your fundamentals in order. That way you would be able to make protocol level changes to, say, ZK or Ethereum Foundation and things like that, and you can become one of their core contributors. That's where you are able to make a change. With a small change you're able to impact lives of millions.
Hmm, got it, sir. Okay, so on to our last questions. That is, are you doing any airdrop? If yes, how to participate?
Again, very really too soon to tell. I would pass this question on to my co-founder who heads the marketing from our team, Tarusha.
So yeah, there will be some exciting airdrops, but right now, we are obviously still like 10, 12 days away from the first beta, and then the subsequent public release is going to happen in August. So I would recommend that all of you perhaps go on the link that the team keeps posting and get on the wait list, because we would be rewarding our early adopters and people who have been supporting us from the beginning. But right now, it's a little too soon for me to announce anything. But do keep your eyes and ears glued to our socials and our community. We'll have some very exciting news coming soon.
Sure thing, man. Got it, got it. Okay, guys, that was the Q&A session for with our founders today. I hope you guys have got all of your questions answered, and we would love to have you join our Discord servers, Telegram communities, and also the waitlist for the Chrome extension is live. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to it so that you don't miss the next revolution of Web3 and how you interact with Web3 with the help of INFTs and dApps Chrome extension that will be launching soon. So the link is in your comment sections. Go and check it out and go into waitlist. Let's move on to our quiz night, the most excitement structure of our event for today's. Thank you so much, Mohit sir and Tarusha ma'am, for being here and distributing such a great knowledge to our all the listeners. And it was great having you. And thank you so much. And we would love to, and our audience will love to have a conversation with you over our communities. So, yeah, thank you so much for being there.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
organizing this. Thank you.
You have
This
been a
is
Thank
wonderful
you so much.
host. Thank you to all the audience as well for taking out time on a Friday evening once again. So really fun interacting with you. The questions were awesome, and looking at these good quality of questions, I feel very positively about the entire growth of Web3 space. Thank you.
likewise.
Thank
I
you
think
so
I'm
much.
very excited. Thank you so much for joining in. As Mohit said, it's Friday, and have a great weekend. I'm very active on Twitter. If you have any further questions, please reach out to me. My DMs are always open. And thank you so much once again, Lakshay, and the entire community team at DAPS. You guys have been fabulous. And over to you now. Go ahead and give away some prizes for the quiz.
For sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Okay, guys, it's the quiz time right now. I will be dropping a link, so make sure you guys just go and join the quiz. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, folks, the quiz link is on your chat screens right now. Make sure you guys just go and join it fast if you want to win some swags and cool reports. Make sure you join the quiz right away right now. I have dropped the link in the comment section. Live chat. The quiz will be starting in 30 seconds, so make sure you guys join fast.
Lakshay, would you like to present your screen?
No, no, Sai.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
In the count of 20 seconds, I will gonna start the quiz. Make sure you guys join fast. And if you haven't joined till now or having any issues in joining, then do let us know in the chats and we can wait for you a little more. Okay, so I'm starting the quiz, right? The first question is on your screens. Okay, guys, so we have our winners for today. That's Swapnil. So Swapnil, make sure you DM us on our communities, Discord, whether Telegram, with a hi and this screenshot as well. Okay. So yep, that's a wrap, guys. Thank you for joining in. Swapnil is the winner for our today's quiz night. So thanks for being such a lovely audience. This was Lakshay Gupta, your host for today. Thank you so much, guys.